She believed in me when everybody didn't.
How was your childhood back then?
That you're about to either stay the same or you're about to grow.
The more you fear things, if you face them, they're not fear anymore.
When you understand energy and you know how to realign your energy and tap into the beautiful emotions versus the suffering emotions, you become a magician.
What is the biggest lesson in your life?
And one person came in and shook my whole entire life up.
يا أهلاً وسهلاً. اشترك في القناة لأن غير الفيديوهات الخاصة بالحلقات حتوصلك فيديوهات ثانية، وأنا أكد لك مع كل فيديو بتشوفه سواء لقاء أو فيديو خاص بتطور شيء في نفسك. فاشترك في القناة وفعل زر التنبيه. Hi Nick.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm excited to be here.
Oh, me too. Trust me, you have no idea. I have so many questions.
Hopefully I have great answers.
I'm sure. We'll start with 3 deep breaths. We inhale and then we exhale from the mouth.
Okay, great.
Okay, you can close your eyes and connect with your unconscious mind. Try to connect to the heart as well with the intention of honesty. And try to relax all the muscles. Are you enjoying? I said 3. You did so. You did few more.
I love a proper drop-in.
Nice.
And so thank you for that.
My
It's
pleasure.
a great reminder.
My pleasure. And I'm going to ask you to pick an essential oil. I'll help you. So I'm going to ask you now to close your eyes again, connect to the scent of lemon, and go back in time, sometime between 1 and 7 years old, and tell me, where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with?
I am being held by my grandma in my long driveway that we had. And I'm maybe like, I'm 2, very little. I'm outside. It's very sunny. You can hear the birds. The trees are rustling.
What feeling do you get right now?
Held, seen,
Emotion.
loved.
Nice.
Loved, valued.
Who are you with? Your grandma and?
I'm with my grandma. The kids are further out. Maybe brothers and sisters are further out. They can hear the distant laughter and chatters, but it's just me and her.
That's nice. You may open your eyes now.
I haven't thought about her in a while. Thank you for that.
My pleasure. So you had a close relationship with your grandmother?
Not as close. I think I was so young, and there was some family drama, and things got split. So some family got split. I stopped seeing cousins, and I haven't thought about her in a very long time. Yeah.
She's still alive?
No. No, it's been years since she passed. But I felt all the emotions that I think we seek as an adult, to be seen, to be heard, to be loved, to be held. I don't know about you, but I love to be held.
Unconditionally, for sure.
Yeah.
Nice. Very interesting.
Agreed.
Yeah. How was your childhood back then?
My childhood was very loving, but also very painful. I think when I was very, very young, I didn't really understand that I was different. I wasn't programmed, or I didn't, adopt other people's beliefs. And I was a very pure, happy kid. I had a great support system. My family loved me. great friends. There was always people around supporting. And I feel like at a certain age, you don't really, at least for me, I didn't understand that I had no legs and one arm. And what's coming to me right now is there was a Christmas picture of me in preschool, and we all had Santa hats on, and I'm the only one with my hand held into the hat because I wanted to hide my hand the way that my finger looked. And so although right now what's coming to me was a happy and loving as a baby, clearly even in preschool there was some insecurity and some feelings of wanting to hide and be normal.
And nowadays you think this was normal back then because kids are not used to see someone unique like you.
Yeah, at least I think it's normal. But I don't think clearly the other kids didn't think it was normal. But I believe that I had really, really good upbringing, good friends, and good people around me. I don't think I realized I was different until we got into like teenage years.
Oh, interesting.
Like the crazy years.
Yeah.
The years where, you know, dating, boyfriends and girlfriends and sports, and you go to your dances. And I think those were the moments, especially around females, that I understood that I was really different because I looked around and my friends were dating and going to dances, and I was always the one that was left out, or I was the only one that maybe didn't have a girlfriend, didn't have any success in that area. And that pain was a deep, deep wound that drove most of my success. You know, when people say, you're so inspirational, you know, how did you build all this amazing stuff? And the core of it is I was and am and still working on repairing a broken child, a child that didn't feel like he fit in, a child that hated his body, and even at a young age would have conversations of like, maybe you should take your life, maybe you shouldn't. But I never had the guts to do so, or I knew the burden that it would put onto my family. And so the final nail in the coffin that really made me hit my threshold was women. You know, there was a specific moment where I was on a school bus. I can remember it. And there was a girl to the left of me, and she was making fun of everyone on the school bus. And I was preparing myself for what she was about to say to me because I knew that she had a bunch of ammunition. And I looked over to her, and she looked me in my eyes and was like, I don't even have to start with you. You're already too screwed up. Look at your body. And I remember not knowing how to process that, not knowing how to deal with that, questioning life, questioning my body, but also starting to believe her, starting to believe that maybe she's right. Maybe I'm really messed up. Maybe she's right. Maybe I am disgusting. Since it's a woman, clearly women don't like me. And so I started building beliefs around women that I will never be loved, that I'll never have a wife, I'll never have a relationship, I won't fit in, and girls don't like people like me. And that pain, luckily, was transmuted because in a lot of ways I became a savage. I became someone who would do anything to be loved, whether it was chop some of my arm off to become a wrestler, whether it was to get a bunch of tattoos at an early age, whether it was to build millions of followers. If I look at a lot of my success, the core is that he just wanted to be loved. And then you reach a point where you realize that nothing external can give you what you really need. Nothing materialistic will ever fill a spiritual hole. And then you have this eureka moment where you realize everything that you were chasing, you've always had.
When did you discover self-love? When did you start loving yourself?
I think I started loving myself the moment I started pushing myself physically. The moment I started, instead of destroying my body, but seeing how far I can push it, whether it was through wrestling, whether it was through bodybuilding. The moment I looked at my body and said, I can't change no legs, one arm. but I can work on loving this body every single day. I can nurture it with great foods. I can put it through workouts. I can push it to the extreme. I can sculpt it. I can cultivate it. I can manifest it into something that I really enjoy. And I feel like my physique, my physical transformation was also a self-love transformation. Because if you think about it, if you trash the only thing that your creator gave you, do you really love yourself? I mean, we only get one. And sometimes your creator doesn't give you all the parts. And to see us still trash our only vessel, a lot of people can ask the question, do they still love themselves? And so I feel like that was the journey on starting to love myself. But I'm sitting here from a place of I'm still working on it. Great. You know, I think people look at me and they see this teacher and this expert and this guru, and the truth is that I'm far from perfect, and the only reason why I connect with you on a deeper level is because I know what it feels like to be broken. I know what it feels like to not be enough. I know what it feels like to be inadequate. And if I can heal my struggles, I can maybe give you an accelerated path to healing. But I'm not preaching from a place of perfect. And I struggle just like everyone else. And the reason why I share that is because I see too many people online who they teach and they share their stories, but they never share when they're broken. They never share when they're struggling. And people forget that they're human. So I just want to let people know that I'm human and I struggle just like you.
How many brothers and sisters you are?
I have 2 sisters, and I had a brother. He had passed from a heroin and fentanyl overdose. Yeah. He was...
That was a while ago or recent?
It was almost around 4 years.
4 years.
5 years ago. And...
How did that change you, if I may ask?
When my brother died, it took me 6 months to realize he was dead. It took me 6 months to really feel the absence of my brother. I think that's the first thing that it taught me was we don't take time to feel things. And even something so traumatic like that, we go back to working, we go back to serving, we go back to creating, we go back to the daily hustle, or maybe you intentionally or unconsciously go into work or something really head on because you don't want to feel the emotion. And I remember 6 months after my brother died, I was sitting on a bed and I was scrolling, I was cleaning up my inbox. And I saw my last text to him.
Wow.
And I clicked on the message and it went from blue to green. And I looked at my girlfriend at the time and I was like, wow, my brother's dead. And he's not coming back. And so a few things within that is, one, make sure you take time to feel. Because as I mentioned, in order to heal it, you have to feel it. And if you never feel it, you never heal it. And I believe that pain is passed down the bloodline until someone's ready to feel it. And I'm that one in the bloodline, the one that's ready to feel all of it and then transmute that so my offspring and my lineage doesn't have to experience maybe the same trauma. So the first thing that I learned was I had to feel things and process it. The second thing was it reminds me of how fragile this is, how much of a beautiful gift life is, and how little we are in the present moment, and how we take the smallest things for granted. And for me, death is a constant reminder to go do, to go be, to go love, to go create, to go ask that person on a date, whatever it is, because you're going to expire.
Live the moment.
Live the moment. But we forget we're going to expire.
Yeah.
And if you're, and death is also, it's traumatic, but it's also a great reminder. that you're right here, you're right now, and go for it. Be, feel, try new things, take the risk. So yeah, it shook me, but it took me 6 months to get shaken.
Interesting. What was the turning point in your life where you started working on yourself internally? How did it start? What happened? What year was it as well?
In 2017, I was at this time posting bodybuilding videos. So my pursuit was to, craft my body into this crazy thing and be able to build a following that way. And on Instagram, this man had reached out and he said, I own a meal prep company in Tampa, Florida. I'd love for you to come see the facility. Would you come visit me? And we can create some content. It'd be great. And so I flew out to Tampa, and this was my first friend or acquaintance or mentor that worked for himself. I mean, he had his own company. He had a Hummer and a Lamborghini at the time, and he was in really great shape. And it was a whole new world for me.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about this law of exposure. The law of exposure, once you're exposed, you can never be unexposed. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And so I saw this lifestyle. I saw the great weather and people were in shape and the Lamborghini and the company, and he was speaking. And I was like, who is this dude? And I learned early on that success leaves clues. And if you really are present and observant of people, you can learn from anyone. And so I started seeing he was journaling and he was reading books and he was listening to audiobooks and he had a vision board. And I was like, what is all this?
Nice.
He's like, this is personal development. I'm like, I don't know what that means. And the littlest things, he was like, you should start journaling. You should start writing your goals down. He gave me a book. He was like, you should read this. I was like, I hate books, I never read books. And he put me onto a lot of the habits that have changed my whole entire life. And that was my first, around 2017 was my first taste of personal development and someone who was successful trickling their knowledge down to me. Because, my parents did well, but they weren't entrepreneurs. They didn't own their own business. They always had, worked for someone else. And so this was a whole different life for me when one person came in and shook my whole entire life up.
Very interesting. When you talk about your parents, who do you picture first, mother or dad?
Mom, I think, and Dad, I love you too. We'll get to you. My dad watches everything, and so they watch everything. Like, what comes to me is my mom. I think now as an adult, I've realized how incredibly strong she was to have a baby inside of her stomach, and for people to say that you shouldn't have him or it's not going to be good. He'll never feed himself. He'll never dress himself. He'll be a big baby for the rest of his life. If you do have him and he survives, you should give him away. I mean, these were all the advice of the doctors. And imagine that as a mother, you having your little baby here and people tell you shouldn't go forward with it. And they drowned it out, all the expert advice, and said, we're going to lean into faith and we're going to have this baby and see what happens. Imagine the amount of strength it takes to do that and what she went through. And when I was born, her philosophy was, Nick, I don't care if you make money. I just want you to be happy.
I'm just imagining the amount of love she carries inside herself. That's her soul.
Yeah. And she believed in me when everybody didn't. And my sister had asked me, she said, because all different kids have different views of the childhood.
True.
And she was like, why are they like always top on your board to give back, to retire them? And I just was like, they didn't abort me. I'm living the bonus round because they decided to do it. I'm not even supposed to be here. And so my intention is to give my parents a life like they gave for me. all of this is bonus, all of this is additional, and it's only here because they decided. They could have ended everything. I wouldn't know anything. I wouldn't have even been here. And so they're a massive forefront of my motivation and my pull to continue to work, to continue to grind, continue to serve, continue to be a best version of myself. And so I first picture my mom, to answer your question before we started crying. I picture my mom, and then my dad, his philosophy was, I want you to be happy, but I want you to be able to be a provider. I don't want you to rely on programs, and I don't want you to rely on trying to make an adaptive world. He said, this is reality, and we're going to find a way where you're going to be a boss.
Amazing.
You're going to lead, you're going to serve, you're going to make your own money. And so those are the two philosophies, polar opposite, but a good combination for me.
Wow. Who are your parents, if I may ask? What do they do? Who are they?
Yeah, at the time, my dad was building, he was a partner in a garbage company, so he was building a waste management company. And my mom was, at the time, I think, at home mom. You know, we had a full family, and I'm the baby, and so maybe they had some split testing with the other kids on figuring out how to become a parent, and then I was the last one. But they understood early on. Maybe it was a download, maybe it was God, maybe it was intuition, whatever it is. But their intuition was, we have to treat him normal or he'll be handicapped. We have to treat him normal or he'll be disabled. We have to treat him normal or he'll be held back. And that's what I tell people is, having arms and legs isn't the only disability. You can see mine, but most of us have disabilities that we cannot see.
Inside.
Of course. Our heart, our soul, our beliefs, the way that we view the world.
The way we treat people.
How we treat people?
Yeah, how we treat ourselves as well. Because I often ask people, how do you talk to yourself? And they go like, what? How do you talk to yourself? And they come back to me like after maybe a few months, not even a few days. They're like, thank you for the question.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was self-sabotaging yourself. I hated myself from inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. It starts with, how do you talk to yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, it was a beautiful combination growing up.
Nice. So you are the elder son, or you're the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest.
The baby.
This is the spoiled one then.
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
Yeah. The spoiled one. The one that, I'm the black sheep though. You know, like I did the extreme. You know, I moved across country. I built business. I tattooed my whole body. Like I'm the black sheep of the family. Everybody kind of stayed in the States, in one state, and I was just figuring out life.
Did you study university, or you just explored life? Did you go to?
So my upbringing, I got accepted to the only college that I wanted to go to, but at the time I was actually a prankster.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would like dress up as a zombie, and I would scare people and make famous videos, you know, funny videos that got me famous, whatever you want to call it. You know, it went super viral.
Yeah.
And I actually had the opportunity to go to college, and then I got offered an opportunity to film a pranking show in LA.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And so I persuaded my parents to not go to university, not go to college, and for me to move to LA. And I moved to LA, and about 2 weeks after I moved to LA, they called me and said, hey, the show never got picked up, you know, good luck. And there I was in LA with no income.
Wow.
And I went broke.
You're an adventurer, huh?
Yeah. I went broke. I had no money. I wasn't in a good environment. I didn't have good friends that were really helping me out and wanting to achieve more. And after that 6 months, I went broke. I packed my bags up in LA, and I moved back home to my parents, where I started bodybuilding. But that's how that was that journey there. So I didn't go to university. I decided to go to the University of Life and move out, go broke, experience that, and then move back with my parents and go back to the drawing board.
Nice. What makes you happy overall, without like any outside interference? People interference. Like, what really makes you happy?
what comes to me, that's a great question, because it would be easier to answer that question with external things. And so it's a great question where you said, what makes you happy without external things, right? What comes to me is I can see like my 11-year-old self and the smile that he put on the outside, but the pain that he had on the inside. And what makes me happy is knowing I became the man that little boy needed. That I love myself now in the ways that he wanted to be loved. That I pushed through the pain that he didn't think he would be able to push through. I created a life that he never thought he would have. And so what makes me happy is knowing I am a good big brother to my younger self.
That's amazing. Can we go and visit the 11-year-old
Please.
Nick?
Please.
Okay. Close your eyes, Nick. Close your eyes and focus on your breath from the nose. Exhale from the nose as well. And with every exhale, try to release tension in your muscles or relax a muscle. Let's start with your eyelid, your ears, cheeks, your jaw, neck, shoulders. Relax all your body. And I want you to imagine yourself floating up in the air. Floating so high. You're floating. You're so light. To an extent, you lose the body. And you lose the mind. And while you are floating, you see your timeline. Wherever you imagine your timeline is the right way, wherever you see it is the right way. I want you to go to the past, to your younger self, to the newborn Nick. You are above him, and you can see him from above. Just look at him. And maybe you enter the scene that he's in. Maybe you held him in your hands. And if you want to look at his eyes, you may ask him one question. Just tell him, "Hi, Nick. This is me from the future. I am you in a few years. I have a question in mind, and I'm looking for the answer. What is life about?" And when you get the answer from him, tell him, "I love you, and I forgive you for whatever happening and whatever will happen in the future. Do you love me and forgive me?" You can feel the forgiveness he's giving you, and you can feel all the love he's giving you. And tell him, "Thank you. It's time to say goodbye, but I'll see you soon. And remember, I love you." Fly back to your timeline and go to any scene, any year, between 1 and 7. And whatever you see is the right thing you have to see. And get into the scene. And look at yourself. At any age, I said between 1 and 7. And we'll do the same thing. You will look at Nick and tell him, "Hello, it's me. I am you from the future. And I have a question to you. But before the question, make sure that you are enough, you're always loved, and you love yourself. And I love you, and I forgive you. Do you forgive me?" And because the forgiveness should happen, he would forgive you, and you would forgive him. And now you can ask him, "What is life about?" And listen carefully to the answer. And it's time to say goodbye as well. Say, I'll see you later, Nick. Some other time. Leave the place. Go back to the timeline. And hit the Nick when he's a teenager. At any scene you see him. Maybe he's happy. Maybe he's hurt. Maybe he's looking for love. And get to him and say, "Hi, Nick. This is me from the future. Tell me, how do you feel right now? What are you looking for?" You may speak. What are you looking for? You can tell me. Are you able to speak? Whatever Nick will tell you, it will be the right answer. Try to tap on his shoulder, or maybe hug him. And also tell him you are loved no matter what. Would you forgive me? He would definitely forgive you. And now you can ask him, what is life about? And when you get the answer, try to heal any bad feeling that he has right now. Try to calm him down and tell him, I'm here next to you all the time. I was always here and I will remain here. And when he feels better, say goodbye and leave the place. Go back to your timeline. And I want you to go to the future. Go far, 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 far from today to the future. 30 years from now. And hit a scene that will happen in the future where you see Nick and look at Nick. Whatever age he's at, sit next to him and tell him, "Hey buddy, it's me from the past. Did you ever imagine that you would be here one day?" With a beautiful smile, he may look at you and ask you, what was life about? And you have to answer him. When he will hear the answer, say goodbye and go back to your timeline. I want to come to the present time. Slowly, slowly, come to 2025. Today, try to feel your body. Try to move your body a little bit. When you're ready, come to the studio and open your eyes.
I'm vibrating.
Positively, I hope.
Yeah. Thank you
My honor.
for that journey. Can I share?
Of course.
The two words that were common was love and service. What is life about? Life's about loving, and life's about service and contributing. And that Nick needed to be in this vessel to be the messenger that can deliver a specific message. And if the message paired with the vessel is a perfect storm for transformation. And so despite not liking the vessel for the majority of those timeline jumps, what the vessel and the message did for the world and for my family, that was what I got.
Wow. What about when you went to the future?
Where was I?
Yeah.
I had gray hair. I've always had the scene that comes to me. I have gray hair, and I was on a big boat. And the kids were taken care of. The grandkids were taken care of.
Nice.
We had changed so many lives. Financially, everybody was safe and sound. And I was like, can't believe we made it this far.
Wow.
Yeah. I love that.
So if I may ask you also, where this love and service coming from? Do you remember what did you tell me a few minutes ago?
Where did love and service come from?
Yeah. Your parents.
Yeah. I think they instilled those values in me. Love, to be happy, and to be of service. And the way that people serve them and the way that they served people. And for me to come full circle and be of service. I mean, my whole mantra is that if I bless enough people, I'll be blessed. And if I could just be of service and I could just help, that's my deep-rooted belief. Hey, what can I do for you? How can I serve you? And so that's my programming, service and love. And I think there was through my coaching journey and like teaching others, I think there was a younger version of Nick who thought he needed to have the answers and needed to be the guy, when in reality, my greatest breakthrough was that a healer isn't someone that you go to for healing. A healer is someone who triggers you to heal yourself.
True.
And if I can just hold a container as you're doing for me and be present, let them find their own healing in their own timeline and their own pace. And the most important work is actually in the privacy of our own heart and not anyone else. The most important work we should be just working on is ourselves. I think we always try to want to have people speed up their growth and I want you to be like this and change that, when in reality, that's out of our control. And the only thing we have control of is our heart work and our soul work.
That's so true. And the only thing that we can control is our thoughts.
Yeah.
Think positively, it will serve you. Drag yourself down under, it will never serve you.
Yeah.
So you live your own thinking and you feed your own thinking. The more you feed it positively, life is amazing. La vie en rose, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. What if I asked you, if I give you now one thing right now, in this present moment, your life would be 100%. Much better, I mean. It could be something physical, something mental, something emotional. I don't know. What are you lacking of these days?
That's an interesting question. Because is there lack if you're everything? I think there's an illusion of lack. I think there's an illusion that we're missing out on things, but we're really whole. I think that's what we're all trying to figure out, is how to be whole when we have everything. But to answer your question, a thumbs up from my creator that I'm in the right direction, that I'm in the right path. Just like a head nod. Can you give me one of those, like a head nod or like a scoop me to the left or scoop me to the right? But I think just some confirmation from the Almighty that
when you talk to God or pray, at any form you do, what do you ask Him for?
I rarely ask for things. I believe that most people's prayers and wishes are like a vending machine to God, where they put a quarter in and they say, gimme, gimme, gimme. And if we believe that the external world is a mirror of our internal world, if we believe God is a mirror of us, at least that's my belief, that when you say gimme, 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 He turns around and says, you gimme, gimme, gimme. But if you shift the question and you pray and say, how can I be of service? How can I serve you? God or the universe turns around and says, no, how can I serve you? And so when I pray or when I meditate, my question is always, how can I be a blessing? How can I serve? Put me in the right room. Put me in front of the right person. Give me the right platform. Allow me to say the right thing. This isn't me. I'm a vessel. I'm just a messenger. It comes through me. And so put me in the right place and in front of the right person that needs the right message to save them at the right time. Just put me in a place where I could be a blessing.
And if you're helping a lot, or you're servicing, or you're giving service to people or others, who's helping you these days?
Who's helping me?
Yeah.
You. You're helping me right now in this moment by creating a container for me to feel and to cry on camera and share some insight. My team are my arms and legs. Nick, how do you do so much? I got a good team. I have people that see the mission, align with the message, and want to multiply that message, and they'll come along and do that. I think this country, UAE, and the city of Dubai has helped me. I've never felt more valued, more seen, more put on a pedestal of like, go, be free, share the message, change lives. How can we support? And so I've never felt more at home and aligned.
Amazing.
In 8 years of entrepreneurship, I've never felt like, this is the right place.
Great. And you're more than welcome in Dubai.
Thank you. Thank you.
How did you decide to move to Dubai?
The whispers of the universe, of God, whatever you believe in. I got to the point in America where I had great success, and we bought, the big house, and we had the cool cars. And it was a moment for me where I was like, this isn't everything, I think as a young entrepreneur, especially for those that are listening, when you don't have money and people say money doesn't solve everything, you don't believe them because you're like, what do you mean? I'll take your money, like, give me it, right? They're like, money doesn't fix everything. Well, I'll take the money. You don't believe that. Or, you hear people say like the car is cool for a couple days, or the big house, you don't believe it until you experience it. And I experienced it where I had the things that I thought were the things that I wanted. And then I was like, I don't really want this. Is this it? And I believe that humans love the feeling of progress. And we get in not so good states when we feel stuck or we feel like we're moving backwards. And for me, I got to this point where I've achieved everything that I wanted to achieve, and nothing was really pushing me and wasn't really cultivating an environment where I needed to be more. I kind of got stagnant. And my business partner, we were a little bit lost. And what's really beautiful, the reframe on being lost is enjoy the season of loss, because on the other side of loss is found. You can only find yourself if you lose yourself.
Of course.
So if you're lost right now, just know it's coming. I don't know when it's going to come, but you will find yourself. And so we were at the season of lost, and through really stillness, like getting out of the hustle and bustle and the grind and go finding a place to be still and to connect with whatever you believe in, I believe you get downloads. And I believe those downloads have a shelf life. And if you don't take action on those downloads, your creator gives it to someone else and see if that vessel will run off with the idea. And my business partner had got the idea of like, hey, America is America, but it's a small sandbox compared to the global world. And Nick's message needs to be global, not just in the West. And my business partner came out of his room one day. It was like, we need to try Dubai. And he's like my oracle. And so he can see things better than I can see that haven't happened yet. And I was like, yalla, I didn't know yalla at the time, but I said, yalla, let's go, let's try Dubai. And so in a couple months ago in May, we came here for 9 days. And by day 3, we looked at each other and said, we're going to sell everything. And we're going to take a leap of faith. And we're going to surrender. And we're going to see what magic we can happen in the GCC. And we're going to move to Dubai and see what happens. And it was scary. I cut off a market that has made me very successful and everybody knows me. But I believe, especially as a man, that it's important to put yourself back in the fire when you get comfortable, back into the crucible or the trial of passage. And for me, not cutting off, but, like selling everything in America and moving here was my trial of passage to be, remind myself who I am. And the first 3 months were really scary. And then it was just, people found out who I was. Magic. I believe in magic and universe and God and incredible energy. And the incredible energy in Dubai has brought me to here, and it's brought me to here, and brought me to with you, and brought me to the world government. So all these little magical threads, I can't explain it. And I don't think I need to explain it. I think if you know, you know. There's something that you're plugged into that is way more powerful than you. And if you can just be a good person, set intention, and surrender to the rest, magical things will happen. And so I'm just enjoying the magic.
Enjoy the magic.
Yeah.
You're spreading magic and enjoying the magic at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
What ideas you had back then about Dubai before you come to Dubai, and what did you see when you arrived to Dubai? Like, tell me about both experiences.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think from someone from the West, there's a lot of like stigma or messaging about Middle East.
Yeah.
And in the most polite way, even talking to people in this area are like, experience Dubai, but we still live in a rough neighborhood. There's still rough and tough around the neighborhood, meaning the other places. And so you don't know until you experience it. And I think there's beautiful people in every country of the world, but I think journalism and manipulating stories gets in the way.
Yeah, it's the agenda.
Exactly. And I think let's just create a news channel that only covers great things. How about that? You know, it's like, so for me, there was definitely this stigma. You don't know much about the Middle East. You see what's going on with specific countries and conflicts, and so I didn't know what to expect. My parents were a little bit nervous as well. They're like, "What do you mean Dubai? Like, what do you mean UAE? Like, where is that? Like, what's going on?" But for me, I've traveled around the world a lot. I've never been to this area, but I've been humbled multiple times. My own ignorance or my own beliefs or my own my own judgments of an area of what it would be, and then I go there and I'm like, these people are amazing. Like, hey, everybody, look at these, like, they're amazing. And so I believe the agenda is designed to tear us apart when there are beautiful people everywhere. And so before I came to Dubai, didn't know what it was. I heard oil, oil and there's a lot of money there. That's all I heard. And but I came here and I experienced culture, real culture.
That's nice.
I experienced community. I experienced people not knowing who I am and saying, "Come sit and eat with me. I want to know your heart. I want to know your soul. What do you do?" And then sit with you with this presence and this sensory acuity, and they're so observant and they don't miss. And I'm like, who are these people? And I realized that I found myself in a city that has locals, but also the majority of the population is people from all over the world that want a better life. People from all over the world that are taking a shot on themselves. The people all over the world that are working for their family, that have morals and visions and a spiritual compass. And I was like, wow, maybe the messaging is like that so people don't find out how good this place is. Maybe countries want you to believe that this is the only good place, when in reality there's a lot of great places out there. And so I experienced culture. I think one of the greatest things that I love about this culture and all the cultures that are in this city is they want to get to know you before you do business. They want to get to know you before you make magic happen together. They want to sit down. They want to break bread. They want to feed you. They want to feed you till you can't eat no more. But they want to get to know your heart. And I also believe that there's so much wealth here that you can't use it as a tool because there's money everywhere. And so the great aspect about that is relationships aren't built off of how much money you have. Relationships are built off of what's your mission, what are your values, and where do you want to go? And if I can help you, halas, right? Let's do it. Let's open doors. Let's collaborate. And so this is what I felt. But I also believe that great energy finds great energy.
That's
and
so
wherever
true.
you go, you can create your own Dubai magic. And so I also believe in that. If you're a good person, you'll find good people. If you're not so good person, you'll find not so good people.
You attract them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But culture, I think, is what the West is missing. And there's so much culture here. And my message and who I am as a man has never been more well received than in this area. And so I've been guided to the right place at the right time.
That's nice.
That was my long answer about what I experienced.
It's a beautiful
before and
answer.
after.
It makes me so happy.
even now, right? This is my first Ramadan. And I'm like, why are we doing the interview at 10 p.m.? My driver's like, what are we doing? Who is this person, right? And then I learned is like, hey, learn more about culture. It's like they fast in the day, and then they get to eat, and then they'll do the interview, and then they're in a better mood, I like this. It's so lively at night. It's so cool.
And it's so safe.
So safe. So safe. Right? And so you get this beautiful aspect of people from all over the world, all different countries. Even if you don't believe in a specific thing, there's a lot of people that fast out of respect for the country that they live in, right? And so you get this cool dynamic at night of people just hanging out, eating, breaking bread, and having human connection. And so I love it.
Nice.
I want to build my own majlis.
Amazing. Invite me. I'll be more than happy to go to your majlis.
Yeah. It's the coolest thing ever. I'm like, why did I just learn about majlis? This is great. I need one.
What's your favorite spot in Dubai? Do you have a favorite one or not yet?
My favorite spot in Dubai would be... I'm so bad too because I don't even go out much. I'm such an introvert.
That's
it's
okay.
But I would say I love local areas.
That's nice.
I like... Do you know is it Loon Cafe?
I'm so bad with names. I'm sure I know
me
it.
too. But
Yeah.
I went to incredible coffee shop that was mostly locals.
That's nice.
They love coffee and their pastries at night. And it's just people not on their phones, human connection, community.
Nice.
It was beautiful. And so yeah, I like the local spots.
That's nice. This is where I live.
Yeah.
Cool. That's nice. As I said before, you're more than welcome in Dubai, and I'm sure you're gonna do magic here.
Thank you.
For sure. How do you see the future? Like when I took you to the future, you saw something very nice, very positive, but how do you see the future from your own perspective? How do you work on your future?
Yeah.
You're too young. You're
28
years old.
Yeah.
So how do you build the future?
Yeah, I think one of the greatest skills that I've adopted is romanticizing with the future so you don't stay stuck in the past.
Nice.
And so oftentimes, if people are living the same cycle over and over again, they haven't taken the time to pick up the paintbrush to life and paint out what exactly they want their life to look like. And so when I moved to Dubai, I sat down with my business partner and I said, let's do our favorite thing, which is romanticize with the future. And so what that looks like is getting very, very clear on the things that you want to do and who you want to become, down the path of the journey or down the path of achieving these goals. So, I get very clear on like, how much money do I want to give to my parents? How many stages do I want to speak on? What body fat percentage do you want to be at? What kind of car do you want? Do you want a driver? Is there a chef that helps you? How many kids did you help? Like I get very, very clear and specific on who I want to meet and what do I want to achieve. And I have intention, but I think this is the magic and the part that a lot of people struggle with is set intention, but surrender to the way that it manifests. Oftentimes you'll always get the things that you want, but you'll never get it in the way that you expected.
100%.
And so leave room for the magic, right? If you and I created a business plan and we knew it was going to go exactly how it was, it would be boring.
100%.
We didn't come here for certainty. We came here for variety and uncertainty and chaos and all these different things.
That's why you have to enjoy the journey all the time.
Yeah.
You have to accept what's happening in the journey, what's coming in the journey. I opened a barbershop with my friend and it's not what we expected. But then when we opened it, I told him, there you go. This is not what we expected. It's even better for me because I enjoyed every single second we spent opening this barbershop. I opened it in an area that I never expected that I'm going to open it. It's not as planned. And things happened in a very chaotic way, I would say. But I enjoyed the journey. I loved it and I accepted and I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a year and a few months.
Wow.
So I'm so happy and I'm so glad, because I learned throughout the years as well in my healing journey that I have to surrender to the process and I have to accept God's plan, because God's plan is always better than my plan. Always. No matter how much you're going to plan, only God's plan is going to be executed.
Yeah.
The way He wants it.
Yeah.
The way it's written. So yeah, surrendering is a big part of it.
It's beautiful. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I think a lot of us come here to try to learn that one lesson, right? But your human experience is like how to surrender, how to create more magic, in our lives. And so, yeah, so for me, I just romanticize with the future. And when you brought me to the future, what I see, which I haven't seen, this is very recent for me, is I've taken a total 360 in the sense that I want to come full circle in the sense that when I was younger, there were fundraisers and organizations that helped raise money for my parents to buy wheelchairs and stuff. And so now I'm creating a foundation to be the arms and legs for kids who don't have arms and legs. And I'm gonna do some crazy things in a good way, raise money, have donors and partners, and we're going to do these missions where we give wheelchairs to families who can't afford them. We're going to give them accessible cars.
Nice.
I already have a little boy in Brazil that was born with no legs and one arm, just like me. I'm going to go and be big brother and give them anything that they need. And so what I see as I go into the future is now, how many kids can I save? Not save in the sense, but how many kids can I
enhance
their life,
yeah.
Bring positivity, support the family, and for me to be a role model for them, because I didn't see many people that look like me. And so if a kid with no legs and one arm can be like, well, look at Nick, there's hope, he's crushing it, then he can crush it as well. So for example, I haven't shared this with anyone, but I'll share it with you. In 2026, I just committed yesterday or today to climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in honor of the children.
Wow.
And so this is going to be it'll probably take me 7-8 days to climb the mountain. I don't know what the journey is going to look like. I have to train.
Of course.
And I'm going to do it in honor of our foundation, IFG, Influence for Good. And I don't know what it's going to look like, but I know it'll break the internet, have a lot of eyeballs, and will help a lot of people. And so that's some of my future there.
Interesting. And you're not only inspiring people that might look like you inspire everyone.
Yeah.
You don't have to look for people that only look like you. This is my perspective. You literally inspire every single person.
Yeah.
Because you are a great role model for all of us. Like, I mean, look at you. You accomplished more than so many people who has more than you maybe. But you did it. You made it. If you go back in days and remember again the girl you told me, she told you like you're already like a shit show or whatever in the bus, I'm sure you will still remember her. But if you see her life right now, I assure you she's not a successful person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And where is she and where are you?
Yeah, of course. And I learned too through that if I can go back as an adult and mediate that moment, I wish I could hug her and love on her and give her so much compassion, because
she was a lesson.
She was struggling.
Of course.
Imagine how much she had to struggle to take it out on me. And so that's been my latest theme of, regardless of how much people hurt me, what they say to me, is to leave some ounce and room of compassion, because they only know what they know.
True, and it made you the person you are right now.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Who's your role model in life?
Who's my role model? I have a new role model. My new role model is His Highness, Sheikh Hamdan.
Sheikh Hamdan.
Yeah.
Fazza'.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
I think about the level of man that you have to be so dialed in, to be so present, to be so in tune with everything that's going on, to carry the future weight of the world on your shoulders, to stay in shape, to create content, to be a father figure, a role model, all of the things. What a guy, what a man. And so if I could be just a few percentage of a man that is, or anytime that I feel tired, or anytime that I feel like I can't keep going, and I'm like, Sheikh Hamdan's schedule is way more packed than your schedule. And so I just look up to him as a leader, as a man, as someone who stays grounded in the midst of chaos. I mean, like imagine being the crown prince. That's insane.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
It's lots of responsibility.
It is.
Yeah.
So he's my role model.
He's our pride.
Yeah.
He is our pride.
Yeah.
Nice. A question comes to my mind every now and then, but okay, I'm gonna hit it.
Please.
1 second. I use this with some of my guests. I will hold it for you, and I want you to talk to your younger self. I want you to talk to Nick before your self-development journey, and look at him and tell him one thing that you had on your heart that you have to tell him right now.
I am so glad that you didn't take your life. I'm so glad that you were willing to pursue and persist through the pain and through the moments where you didn't feel like you fit in, where you felt inadequate, when you felt like you weren't enough. Because you didn't quit, so many lives were impacted, and we'll never know the trickle effect of what you did as a little boy to the man I am today. That's what I would say.
Great. That's so
a
nice.
Exercise. He's got all the great exercise on this show. I think I've cried the most in this interview. This is a great one.
I'm glad. I'm really glad.
Me too. I love it. I love to cry. I love to feel.
That means that you're a true human being. Yeah, of course. Because some men would say, like, I'm not gonna cry. No, he's not gonna win over me. I'm coming to the interview just to show him that I will not cry. It would never be the intention. It's never my intention to make you cry. My main intention to make you connect to your heart, to your true emotions, to your true self, and to get to know yourself. And I get to know myself a lot with my guests. You have no idea the lessons I learn every single episode I record.
Yeah.
It's a massive lesson to me. It's amazing. And I always tell them it's a heart-opening interview. So I get to know myself through you guys as well.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And just like the exercise, we're all mirrors for each other. And so you get to see a part of, my little boy and your little boy. You get to see parts of me and you. I get to see parts of you and me. And yeah, I think that's a big message as well. Is I feel like a true alpha man is someone who's also in tune with their feelings.
Yeah.
In the sense that they know how to regulate their nervous system. They know how to heal trauma. They know how to go inwards or have a coach or ask for help. I mean, I think for the majority of my life as a man with no legs, one arm, I definitely programmed that asking for help was weak. Everybody always wanted to help me. And so I felt like, in some senses, I felt like less of a man, or I felt inadequate if I needed help. But then you realize that you actually have to be worthy of receiving help before you can receive help.
100%.
You have to love yourself enough to be able to receive help.
I'm into that. I swear.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because I learned receiving very recent.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have we deflected compliments or no, you know, and it's actually a sign of like not self-love. You're not receiving, and you're robbing the person of the opportunity to serve you. You're robbing the person of the opportunity to contribute to you. So I realized over the years that if asking for help speeds up the process, let's do it.
Of course. Why not?
If it can help me heal faster, let's do it. And a true man that is grounded and certain within himself is comfortable enough to ask for help and say, I need help. I need assistance. And I think if more people ask for help,
the world would be much better.
It'd be way better.
Yeah. What's your biggest fear, Nick? What do you fear the most?
I have this weird relationship fear of death, of not being here,
Mm.
how fast it could go. Like literally, like every day I'm like, this could be it. It's a massive driver for me. And I don't know if I'm sure there's empowering aspects of it. I'm sure there's disempowering aspects of it. But I think my biggest fear is dying with my music still inside me. Like, I wanna complete the mission. And I don't even know what the mission is. Maybe I've already completed it. Maybe my time's up. Who knows? But I just want to know that before I go, I did what my mission was here. Like when I see my creator and he sits me down, I'm like, how'd I do? And he's like, A+. You did it. But who knows? Maybe there is no mission. Maybe the mission is just to be you. Maybe we've been programmed to seek achievement and do all these amazing things. Maybe your mission's to love your mom. Maybe your mission is to heal your inner child trauma. Maybe it's not all these followers and all these things. Who knows? I don't know what my mission is, but I just want to make sure that I made my creator proud. But this fear of dying, like I said, gives me a sense of urgency to execute and to not slow down.
So you're using fear as a great engine. It's a fuel for your engine.
Of course. So, yeah, fear of death, definitely a fuel for my engine. And then also, fear is a great indicator that you're about to either stay the same or you're about to grow. And oftentimes, when you experience fear, it's fabricated. It's not real. You know, fear is caution over a real and present danger. But how many times have we experienced fear about something that would never kill you? Going up to the girl, going up to the guy, public speaking, starting the podcast, filming the video, going Instagram live. I mean, we experience fear every single day over things that would never kill you. And so for those that are listening, anytime that you experience fear, you can ask yourself, will this kill me? And if it's not going to kill you, just know it's fabricated fear to keep you in your comfort zone. And so I play a game with myself with fear. I'm almost sad that I have this game because I challenge myself in the sense that if I see something that scares me, my brain goes, now you got to do it. And so for me, like a simple example is I used to be deathly afraid of water. I didn't know how to swim. Now I know how to swim very well. But if I see if I'm somewhere and I see a diving board that's really high, I'm like, now I got to do it. And I'll literally like, okay, I have to do that thing or I'm going to think about it and that thing's going to defeat me. And I'll think about it and I'll think about it. And so I play a game with myself that if I fear, I have to. If I'm afraid, now I have to. If I'm afraid to go up to that girl, Nick, now you got to go up to the girl.
And you don't fear water anymore?
No.
Of course you don't, because you saw yourself in the future in a boat.
Yeah. It was a big boat. Like we're good. Yeah. But I don't. I don't fear that. But yeah, I play a game with fear. And I would suggest those that are listening, play a game with fear. The next time you experience fear, look at it as an indicator that like, I got to do this thing. I mean, how many times have we been afraid to do something and then we did it? And on the other side, we were like, that wasn't so bad after all.
Exactly.
It's liberating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Again, you're feeding your own thinking.
Yeah.
The more you fear things, if you face them, they're not fear anymore. If you block them, it will remain.
Yeah.
If you feed your fear with fear, you fail. If you feed your fear with curiosity, you succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It was a great game. Great game for me.
Nice. So what if you die after a few days? What would your legacy be? What do you want people to remember you with? I mean, God forbid, but we will all die. I might die before you.
I think the legacy would be the power of alchemy or being an alchemist.
Nice.
Transmuting something that most seem as a curse into a blessing. The ability to transmute insecurity into confidence, inadequacy into wholeness. I think people can see me as a beacon of transmuting something that was supposed to kill you, and you used it to change lives. And a reminder that everybody can transmute. And just like my main quote is typically it's not the physical body that's holding you back, but it's the psychology, it's the belief system. And the biggest disability you can have is stinking thinking, bad thoughts, negative spirals, negative patterns. And that most of us, even with all our arms and all our legs, are still handicapped and crippled by the outside world. And we all have a nice playground to grow, a nice school to learn in. But yeah, someone who transmuted something that would destroy most and turn into a great gift for people.
Very nice. I would give you the chance now to thank only one person. Only one. You pick a name and you send a message to this person to thank him or her. Who's this person and what is the message?
Yeah, I would thank my business partner and chosen brother, Ratmir. 8 years ago, he had no idea who I was. I didn't know who he was. I shared my story and he looked at me and said, "You could be on stage with Tony Robbins one day. You could be one of the greatest speakers in the world." And I thought he was absolutely insane. And he told me, "I will work for you for free. And if one day you like the work we do, maybe one day we'll start a company together." And that was 8 years ago. We've changed millions of lives, 4 years of a world tour with Tony Robbins, but there's no Nick without Ratmir. And so Ratmir, thank you for seeing something that I couldn't see. Thank you for having belief in me, even when things didn't look so good. And thank you for being a chosen brother when my blood brother had to go. I had another one ready to serve me and help me.
That's so nice.
Thank you.
My pleasure, Nick. So if I tell you, what is the biggest lesson in your life? When you sit with yourself and say, this was the biggest lesson in my life. What is this lesson?
I think my biggest lesson in life was identifying my relationship with success and what I thought it meant to be successful and what I thought I had to do in order to be successful. So I'll give an example. I was asked, "Nick, would you agree your life is hard or was hard?" And I was like, "Yeah, my life was hard." They were like, "What's hard about life?" And I said, "Well, when I was younger, dressing myself was hard and feeding myself was hard and getting on the chair was hard and talking to girls were hard and sports were hard." And they're like, "Okay, you've had a pretty hard life." And they said, what if you were to realize that you created a rule with yourself? And the rule or the programming was that if it's not hard, it's not the right path. If it's not hard, you can't succeed. And so anytime things were effortless, anytime things were in flow, anytime things just aligned, I would sabotage it or I'd run the other way because I would be like, it can't be that easy. And so my programming, because of my upbringing, was that struggle equals success. But what if success could be easy? What if it could be effortless? What if it could be aligned? And so I asked myself, where in my life did I sabotage the easy path and make things way harder than what it was supposed to be? Where in my life did I make relationships way more complex? Where in my life did I try to build this complex business idea when I could have just made it very simple? And I realized that my unconscious pattern was I try to make things really difficult when they don't need to be. And so now I try not to overcomplicate things. Business plans, content ideas, relationships. I don't come in with this complex agenda. I just be.
Nice.
And so I think that was one of the greatest lessons that I've learned is success doesn't always mean you need to struggle. Success can also be fun and flowy and playful.
Nice. That's so true.
Yeah.
It's so funny because yesterday I was discussing this with one of my sisters. She's like, self-development teachers, they used to say, you have to work hard, you have to struggle, you have to learn. And now they're shifting to be, enjoy, try to be playful. Everything's not going to come with it, in a golden plate. But while you're working hard, try to enjoy. So balance. But back in days, I would say even 10 years ago, I've never heard someone saying, enjoy what you do. They're like, you have to play hard, you have to do everything and keep going and no, toughen up. And now I would say the consciousness is shifting as well. Because people want you to be, because they've experienced this. They knew that you cannot be tough on yourself all the time. You have to flow. You have to accept. You have to balance, because everything comes with the right balance and the right mindset, because not everyone is the same. We're completely different than each other. Everyone thinks in a different way. The background is different. The culture is different. I don't think the same way you think, and vice versa. And I don't have the abilities you have. It's different. My talents are different than yours. So yeah. But before it was only one message. Now the messages are being shifted. They're different because you have to adapt to what's suitable for you.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do 9 to 5 day job, but not everyone can leave his job and do and be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right. So you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's a beautiful evolution. And I think one of the greatest lessons that I've learned is that your path is the way. Right? We can have teachers and we can have gurus and we can take this, this insight and that insight. And they're like, Nick, which way should I go? Whichever way you want to go. You'll get realigned. You'll find your way back to purpose and alignment. But just that's another thing, is respecting people. Your journey is the journey. Your way is the right way.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because I've had mentors on both sides. So for example, Tony Robbins as a mentor is more like break down the
100%.
wall, 3D.
That's his style,
right?
too.
Like,
yeah.
And it got me very far.
Yeah.
And it was interesting when I went to the other side. I started studying Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
And I
just came back from his retreat.
Great, right? So I go to Joe Dispenza for the first time, and I get into the room, and I sit down, and I'm like, "Where's my workbook?" I'm from Tony. I'm from Tony's world. We have a workbook, and we work through it. And I go to the guide. I'm like, "Where's my workbook?" She's like, "Workbook?" She's like, "Just be present." I'm like, "What do you mean?" But I came from the other side of the world. Break down the wall, breakthrough, breakthrough, breakthrough. And I got to this point after studying Joe and doing his retreat where I looked at Ratmir, my business partner, who I thanked, and I said, "You're telling me we've gotten this far pushing through the 3D world, and now we can just pull? Now we can just become a magnet and attract everything to us, and nothing's missing, and we could be whole, and we could just..." I'm like, dude, this is insane. And so you get this one modality, which I think all modalities are powerful. So you get this one modality of like pushing, boom, boom, boom. But then now I'm on that different flow, bro. Now I'm on that I'm going to embody the emotions. I'm going to become the magnet. My heart's going to draw everything to me, and I'm going to have intention, and I'm going to take action, but I'm just going to let the magic happen. And I like that way better.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe there's a time and a place for the push, but I'd much rather be in a pull place.
And this is the balance. You learn this and you learn this, and you found your balance.
Yeah.
And this is what I also advise people to do. You got to try different modalities to see what fits you. Maybe the first one would fit you, maybe not. So try to experience. And the more you experience, the more you learn.
Yeah, I agree. And the whole nerdy stuff with quantum theory and timeline jumping, and that's like my whole vibe. I believe that when you understand energy and you know how to realign your energy and tap into the beautiful emotions versus the suffering emotions, you become a magician. People are like, "Nick, how do you do so much in Dubai in 4 months?" I'm like, magic. In the sense, it's not just me, but it's like the greatest analogy that I can give people listening is when you watch Netflix and you're watching a show. Is that the only show that's on Netflix? No, but it's the only show you're tuned into. And so what are you tuning into on a day-to-day basis? If you're tuning into suffering, you'll have more suffering. If you tune into abundance, you'll have more abundance. What if we were to tell you that everything that you already want is already yours? Time just hasn't caught up yet. And if you can tune into the emotion in the present moment, you can draw it right to you. I'm speaking to the choir because we're cut from the same cloth. So the tools of quantum, and the tools of the brain and how we can become the magnet. But my challenge for people listening is, after you listen to this incredible interview, a couple times a day, I want you to set an alarm where you tune into trying to flood yourself with gratitude. See how many times a day you can stop, take some breaths, come back to the present moment, and just feel gratitude. And then just watch what happens. Just see what happens. Try it on. And I believe life will change. And so I just want to tune into the right things and pull everything towards me.
What are you grateful for?
What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm grateful for the container that you've created. I'm grateful for this incredible city. I'm grateful for the incredible leadership. I'm grateful for the fact that I'm not supposed to be here and I'm here and everything else is additional. There's a ton of things I'm grateful for. And you can also be grateful for things that haven't even happened yet. So I'm grateful for all the children we saved. I'm grateful for climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. I'm grateful for being 70 years old on the big yacht. My whole lineage is taken care of. I'm grateful for all of it.
I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for being in a boat with you when you were 70 years old.
Let's go.
When you're 70, I might be 90. I'm not sure if I'm going to live until 90.
No, we got this. All right, maybe I'll get it earlier. We'll drop it in the timeline earlier.
Yeah, get it earlier, please. It was a pleasure having you. I want you to say one final advice to whomever is watching or listening, and they feel sometimes down or they're depressed or life is not easy, because life is a balance as well. It's always up and down. You try to balance life. Sometimes you fail and sometimes you succeed. So you cannot have it all. What would you tell them?
To the depths of your pain will be the height of your success. And so if you're at rock bottom, grab a shovel and keep digging and get to the root, get to the really rock bottom. And the lessons and the wisdom that you're going to gain from those trials that you've been put through. What if you're not going through your suffering just to go through suffering, but what if your creator actually put you through suffering so you can be the guide for people so they don't have to suffer like you did? What if you can actually take all the pain that you've been through and you can save others with it? What if there is more to the suffering than yourself? And there would be a massive gap in this world if you weren't here. At least from you and I, we see you, we love you, we hear you. You're more valuable than you think you are. And if you're lost, soon you will be found.
Very nice. That's so beautiful. You reminded me of a saying we have in Islam. It's like, God didn't create you just for the sake of creating. You have a purpose in life. You have something to do. And the more you work on yourself, God will give you more.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you. This has been great. I had a blast.
My pleasure.
This is awesome.